It is Friday the 7th of February 2025, and the European market has just opened. Today is NFP day, non-farm payrolls. That news dump will come 1 hour before the US session. Obviously, I'm taking this into consideration for today, and I will be looking at ETR among other things to decide if I should take my mechanical entries as per usual. I might adjust my sizing when I take them, of course. I do have quite a few entries for today. The list is actually bigger than it usually is. So I do have a lot of entries that are working, but because it's NFP, I am a bit more cautious and will consider them on a case-by-case basis. So generally the first entry would be below the first 5-minute bar in the UK 100. It's opened very strongly to the upside, so this would require a sell below it if we get to that level. There certainly seems to be quite a lot of strength in this open in the UK 100. But we should note that ATR is lower than yesterday and quite a bit lower. We were at 4 to 5 right before the open, whereas yesterday we were at 6, 7. And this is quite a strong open, so we might actually not even retrace to the lows here, but I will use lower sizing and place my sell order below. So this strategy means we sell right below the bar, right below the first 5-minute bar. So it would be here in that place. As you can see, I have an open trade. This is the trade I have open since yesterday. It was more of a swing entry. I entered based on price action here. We were raiding Wednesday's low of the session, and going back into the range strongly. So it was a classic, stop loss hunt, dump below a key level, and then back into it with strength. So I went long, but on lower size because I wanted to target the highs. And in the night we almost hit TP, but then retraced. A bit unfortunate. Come to think of it, I should have probably just placed my TP at the high of yesterday's London session. I went for just a bit higher, and we missed the TP here, but we might still get it. I'm letting it run. For gold also, we can notice lower ATR, so this happens on NFP days. And generally lower volatility is bad for my strategies because my mechanical entries are based on breakouts. So you want to see breakouts or breakdowns. That's where I make most of my points. So if we range today, that would be quite tragic. So we'll see. I will be more cautious. And the first entry for today would be the break of the first 15-minute bars in gold and in the Dow. So I will pause you and observe price action, and I will also take a deeper look at how volatility looks here and decide if I want to go normal size or to lower the size for these entries. I'll bring you back. So looking at the Dow here, we are in similar ATR to yesterday at the start of London session, and yesterday the first 15-minute bar entry worked well to the upside. I think I even have, this is the trade. I exited quite at the high of this initial move. So I see no reason why we shouldn't take this today normally. So this will be a normal entry with a normal sizing for the Dow. We're 5 minutes away from completing the first 15-minute bar. And in gold, let's quickly check with yesterday. So yesterday the first 15-minute bar didn't work, but what I'm more interested in is looking at previous ATR. So this is yesterday. Yesterday we were at around 6.5. The day before we were around 5.6, 5.8, and on the 3rd of February we were at 8.89. So we do better in higher ADR, clearly. You can see at the open here. Also here. So we didn't do well yesterday, but that's just normal. Nothing works every time. But we are in similar ATR conditions. Maybe perhaps just a bit lower. Maybe perhaps a bit lower because of NFP. But I will take this normally as well. Obviously with the swing trade open, there's a question to be had here. Should I also place the short order below? And I think that I will not. So I will just take the long position. If it fills long, then that's fine. If it fills short, I will just let things run. I don't want to, even if obviously this is more of a swing, I don't want to go short when I'm already long. And for the UK 100, the first 15-minute bar is kind of big already, 731 to 704, so it's above 20 points, which is kind of a no-no for me. So I will wait for the formation of the second 15-minute bar. Quickly looking at ATR for this open, we are at 5 to 6, and yesterday we were at 5 to 6 again, and it worked well. Let's go on an even higher time frame to see previous data. So again, we might be a bit lower today, so that's something to definitely consider. We will probably have a bit less volatility pre-NFP. But I still think that our entries are valid. So with that being said, I'll pause you for a little bit here. So bringing you back here, I've placed my orders above and below the Dow using a 5-point cushion. For the DAX, I've just placed a long order and with a half-a-point cushion, which is the cushion for the DAX, for gold, sorry. So I am favoring the long fill here, and when I get filled, I will place the stop below the trigger bar. I'm taking it in higher sizing because I'm employing dynamic risk allocation, so I'm risking a bit more for my better entries, the ones that have performed better recently. So these are my elite entries, let's say, and the break of the first 15-minute bar in gold in the European session has been one of my better entries, so this is why it's higher sizing. So now just waiting for a fill here, and hopefully we can just revisit previous day high. That would be pretty much what we are aiming for here. Let me quickly check the DAX here. An entry off the second 5-minute bar in the European session had been one of my better entries for a long time before going cold recently. So I'm still checking it daily to see when it becomes profitable again consistently. It's looking good for today if it can stay above this wick. Okay, I'll pause you and we'll wait for some fills here. I do think we have one actually in the Dow here. Yeah. Okay, so deleting the short order. So we are risking exactly $50. Which is my normal risk. And for this entry, I generally make around 50 to 70 points. Considering we're in perhaps lower ATR conditions pre-NFP, I'm gonna just target 50 points here. Just give me a second. So this would be 50 points here. Just a bit under 1-to-1, but that's fine. And we have been filled along here in gold. I could have actually risked more. Didn't properly calculate that one. I wanted to risk up to $70 on this. I'm only risking 46, but let's leave it at that. Considering we're in lower volatility, it's perhaps better to just be a bit more cautious. For this entry, I'm generally making 8 points, 9 points, 14 points, 10 points, 12 points, 9 points, 7 points. Just checking the previous days. I do have my spreadsheet open in front of me with all the data. So let's just see what 7 points looks like. Actually, 7 points just takes us to previous day high. Let's just do it like this, 6.5 points. Just takes us to the TP of the other entry as well. I'll be very happy with this. So let's just leave it like that. It's a key level anyway, where you would expect some sort of resistance if we get there. Okay, so we've placed our orders, we got filled, placed our stops, placed our TPs. Everything is according to plan. And now I'll be waiting for the formation of the second 15-minute candle in the UK 100. And I'm also interested in the second 15-minute bar in gold here. I do have a new rule that I employ after I enter a trade. If we move one ATR in that direction, so ATR on the 5-minute chart here is just 1.21. So if we move 1.21 points above it in the first 5 minutes since entering, and we close above that level, that is an add-on. So I will monitor this as well. It would have to be, let me just check. We entered at 2866. So let's make it around 2868. If we close above 2868 in the next 4 minutes, I will add to this position in lower sizing. Okay, I will pause you for now These are the trades that are open. So let's see. Okay, so there was no case of adding to the position. Sadly, we're in a situation where in both cases we just got filled in, like to the tick, and then we reversed. It perfectly touched our entry. So that can happen sometimes. Obviously, I am making the conscious decision to still follow all my entries on NFP day. I do believe that we're quite far away from the announcement that there's not a real case to be made not to trade, not to take entries that have been working a lot over the past few weeks. I might reconsider some entries that are closer to NFP, and I only had one really that was closer to that news dump, but other than that, I think this is valid. Of course, this second 15-minute bar in the UK 100 is quite small. Just a 7-point bar, but again, this has been a very good entry recently, so I will take it. Considering its low size, I will actually go higher in my size. And unfortunately here it does look like we're gonna probably be stopped out in gold. I do still believe that this is going higher, but obviously we will respect our mechanical rules here. And if we get stopped out here, that's fine. Okay, so let me just place the orders here. Selling like 1.5 points below. And buying 1.5 points above. Something like that is fine. So let's see, I'm letting this short order as well for now. And yeah, these are all the entries for now. Let's see what happens. Bit of a nice reaction here. We just equaled the low of the opening candle and are trying to recover. Obviously, this is a key moment because we do need to come all the way back up here to have any confidence that we can continue rallying and continue to stay in this trade. But yeah, I'll monitor things and I'll pause you for now. And let's see what happens. And we have gotten filled short in the UK 100 here. So, abiding by the rules, I will also use the cushion for the stop. So risking 40 points here, I'm gonna target the very lows. Let's see, just a bit above. I'll target the lows here in the FTSE. And those are going to be all the entries for now. I'm also interested in the break of the fifth 15-minute bar in the DAX, but that's a bit later, of course. So I'll just monitor things and bring you back when we have something important to show you. Bringing you back here for an update. So I decided to make a small adjustment to the TP here in the UK 100 short position. Reason being that I'm just protecting myself a bit in case, we just tap into the opening range of this bar and retrace. And the biggest reason I have for doing this is if we check the price action from a few days ago, I was also short here on the same setup. We had a strong opening bar, just like today, reversed on the second 15-minute candle. I went short, but my target was basically here, but we just tapped into the low end of the opening bar. So we're kind of in a similar position here. Obviously my target is still to the very low end of the bar, so we could see a retracement here. I think that, again, just comparing it with that day, I think I can be a bit proactive here and just place stop to almost break even. So I'm just risking $10 now to make 52, because I do believe that if we go back up here, there's no reason to lose the full amount. This was a pretty bullish candle, even though it let a bit of a wick. So I'm giving it a chance to hit a tighter TP here. And I'm also letting this order here for a short. So if the move wants to go even lower, I still have some exposure, and this is a completely different entry anyway. So I think this is good management here. Let's see what happens. Looking at the other positions, so gold tried to break down here a couple of times at this level, but this level held nicely 3 times. And now we revisited the entry point, but now we are retracing again. So we kind of bottomed here and double topped here. And I'm just hoping that we don't go all the way down again, although that is definitely a possibility. I will of course just let things run their course and see what happens. We're also retracing in the Dow here a bit, so it's definitely a bit quieter because of NFP, but again, the news release is much later and I don't see enough that I should not have taken the positions. They're still part of my plan, and my plan has an edge over time, so I will still execute. Quite a decent attempt at a continuation of the rally here, the UK 100. I think this is a sound decision to move stop loss down in this circumstance. Still, we needed just 3 more points, but let's see. I'm gonna let it play out. And gold is attempting to break out again. I would like to see that now. I'm very confident that we get to TPs here if we can break out here. Obviously, the next point of interest will be the high of Asia session. If I see price stumbling here, losing steam at Asia session, I might just close both positions because it's NFP and because we might be just stagnating. But I'll reassess that when we get there, and I will of course give it a chance to go above and hit or take profits. So let's see, it's not looking that bad right now. The initial 10 to 15 minutes after getting filled in both gold and the Dow looked pretty bad, but I think we're looking better now, so let's see. Let's be optimistic and it's time to pause you again, and I'll bring you back. So we are finally attempting a breakout here in gold. It's become a bit volatile all of a sudden. Let me see if we've had some news here. Someone from the ECB is having a speech, but nothing massive. So we are now retesting the top of Asia session. And this is quite volatile here. So we just retraced to the top, and now we are retested the top, and now we are retracing immediately. But let's see, this looks like it has potential to just shoot towards our TP here. I'll give it a moment. I was considering closing it early. Let's see what happens when we revisit the top here. Yeah, okay, I'll just take that, because this is a bit too volatile here. And I do still have the original position. Now, if we close below here, below Asia session, and I see an attempt to retrace, I might just close it. We are almost at full TP here of $133. We are double topping with Asia session high. And actually, I just think that's fine. It's a nice win from basically a swing trade from yesterday, and it's NFP, so let's not get too greedy for an extra $10 and risk a reversal here at Asia highs. I think that's more than reasonable. Now we can focus on the other positions. On the 15-minute chart, it does look like this is a place where you would expect demand to step in, right? But let's see, my entry point is at 719. And my target is at 704, so I'm basically just targeting 15 points, which is more than reasonable looking at past data. So the target is now super reasonable. So I'll let it run, and risking 10 to make 50, that's pretty nice R&R there. So let's see. I would normally also enter off the fifth 15-minute bar in the DAX here. We're 6 minutes away from completing that. It is currently listed on my daily plan as a lower sized entry. So it's been working well, but not super well. So I am still taking it, but in lower size. So I still profit something when it works, but when it doesn't, I just lose less. Because it hasn't worked in the past 2 days, but before that it was working quite well. So this does warrant a position, albeit a smaller one. So I will wait for the completion of this fifth 15-minute bar, and I will also take this, placing a buy order above and a sell order below. So I'll bring you back for that. So the fifth 15-minute bar completed. I bought. The sizing is a bit lower, risking just $32. Like I said, I want to take this entry, but will risk a bit less for this particular one based on research and my dynamic risk allocation. So looking at this entry, when it works, I can generally expect 50 points. So again, just because we're in NFP day and perhaps we might be seeing lower volatility, I'm gonna go for just 40 points, but we are at all-time highs, so and everything's up on the table, of course. But let me just targeting 40 points here. So targeting $41, risking 32. I think that's fine. We are breaking out, we are above previous day high. It's just important now to break out of this double top here. And it does seem like the UK 100 trade will stop us out, but yeah, I'm fine with this execution. It's similarly to what we had a few days ago, like I showed you. Bit unfortunate, but my target is based both on structure and on what the entry returns generally when it's right. So, I mean, I could have, placed, just like here, I could have placed my target a bit higher, and I could have gotten lucky. And here I could have gotten lucky as well had I placed my entry a bit higher, but at the same time, I think the way I'm deciding the take profit includes both the structure and the research. So I think it's a sound system, and if we just missed a TP, that's fine, it will happen sometimes. And just closing manually here because I see price stumbling, that's not really as convincing. Now let's see, we just range here now for a bit. If we go back here to the lows and start rallying again, I might just close it then, but to close it now for just a little profit, I don't see the value in that, because we could still just go lower here. We're still, below this bearish candle, we're still below this bearish candle. We could easily just do another small push down. So I think there's more value in just letting it run. Index is retracing a bit. So let's see. Gold has basically retraced at Asia high again. And Asia high was the London high of yesterday. So this is clearly an important level here, and we have some resistance. So going into NFP, I think this was the best decision here to get out. So those were nice wins. But here I see no value in getting out here just to save like $20 when we could be making much more still. And sadly we have double topped here, but let's see if we can survive. We are lower size, so it's nothing massive if we lose this. But let's see, I'll let things develop and we'll see where we are. Quite the reversal here in the DAX. I think we will get stopped out here. I'm not gonna mind too much if it means the UK 100 is also going down. I would very much prefer that. So let's see. But yeah, this is not what we wanted to see here. We wanted to see strength and hopefully a break of this top, but it wasn't meant to be. That being said, we're still in it. You never know. We could just respect the bottom of this candle and reverse again. So yeah, I'll stay patient as usual and we'll wait for a clear resolution. And I have decided to just close the UK 100 trade here. I think that is fine execution. Still gonna keep this order in place. It's a different entry, so if it fills, it fills. I'm happy to keep going lower and following the price there. So got like $40. Again, I do have NFP in my mind, and as you can see, we are trying to go back up here. So also I have long positions in the other two indexes, so this synchronizes nicely. So let's see. These are my last entries for the day, so there won't be, for the session, there won't be any other orders placed. And even if I see like some level-based setup, I'm not really interested in taking it now pre-NFP, so I'll stick to my planned entries here, and I'll let them run and I'll manage them. So I'll pause you for now and bring you back a bit later, or when we have something noteworthy to talk about. So I've waited quite a bit. We're getting close to the lunch break now, and I'll let things run through the lunch break and see what happens. So we're in a bit of profit, and we're ranging above the entry in the Dow, and we're ranging below the entry in the DAX. Not great price action. Obviously we have slowed down pre-NFP. I still thought there was good value in letting things play out, so we almost got filled short in the UK 100 but haven't yet. I will let this order as well, since it's a completely different entry. I will reassess things after I come back from the lunch break. It will be like 1.5 hours before NFP, so I'll be able to see how things stand, and if we need to make adjustments, I might decide to just close things before an NFP. I'm obviously not going to let any trades run into NFP. So that's the final update for now, and when I get back, we'll see what happens. Obviously it's going to be instant for you, but just wanted to show you the outlook before the lunch break. Be right back. And I'm back. So I've just returned from the lunch break, and we have hit TP here in the Dow. Look at that precision. So my calculation was pretty close. This is why I like to check my spreadsheet and my research to see what these moves make. And then I've also looked at the structure and also took into account that we are in a bit lower ATR conditions because of NFP later today. And I managed to really snipe this move here. We could go higher still, but that's really nice. Love to see that. Okay, we're still in this DAX trade, but it's been ranging for quite a long time now. So I guess the question is, what do we do with it? Do we let it into NFP if it just ranges here? And I think the answer is yes, simply because the stop loss is at minus $32. It's not really that much of a loss, and we're already down almost half of that. And there's still chances we revisit the top here. If we revisit the top, I might just get out there for a very little profit. But I'll let it run and see what happens. It might be worth just letting it run and hope to see a spike up at this point. And with the UK 100, we're still pretty much close to all-time highs here. And we are in profit, but this doesn't look like it really wants to go much lower. It could. And I'm again risking only $30 here. But I do think that I want to bring this further down. We're 1 hour and 20 minutes away from NFP, so think it would probably be better to just either get out here or actually I'll just put my stop to break even. And if we get lucky here, we could just dump now, pre-NFP a bit, and maybe I make some money. But yeah, I'll leave things like this. And that's it for the morning session. We had no stop outs, so that was very nice to see. 3 winning trades, plus the win from yesterday. That's actually quite nice, over $200 made. Always nice to see a day where everything just works. So as you can see, I was wondering at the start of the session, should I still take my entries because it's NFP, but I think my logic was sound. Still taking the entries was the right call, but with small adjustments in size and in management. So yeah, a very nice day. I'm not sure if I'm gonna trade anything after NFP and before the US session. I might do something, and it's also gonna be mechanical. Waiting 4 or 5 minute candles after the news to then place buy and sell orders above and below the 4th 15-minute candle. But I'm not sure. I think I'd rather just wait for the US session because I still have quite a lot of entries for the US session as well. So I'd rather just take the planned entries that I researched. So I think I'll do that, and we'll see each other for the US session. If you like this video and these type of videos, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps me grow the channel. And as always, this obviously isn't investment advice. It's just me journaling my entries and my ideas and trying to show how you can theoretically pass a funded account challenge, use it for informational purposes, use it to learn, and thank you for being here.